Hello, and you're very welcome to this late night edition of the Townham podcast. It is season 2, episode 31, and we're still in the cup, just about. And the high line of the Dundalk defence just about held firm in the end, thanks to an amazing goal from Ryan O'Kane and a late penalty in extra time by Robbie Benson. Joining me tonight to go through this game is Steph McKevitt. Steph, how are you?
Yeah, all good, pal. All good. Just about.
I said we get the high line out of the way now in the intro, like you say.
Yeah, Donald Hanks is already after having 2 drinks after that. He was doing a drinking game watching it.
Yeah, look, Steph, it didn't need to be as hard as it was tonight, you feel, but you know, we went a long way to get through and into the next round of the cup.
Yeah, look, on another night we could have won it easily, and then at the same time, then we could be out and saying, you know, we should have done this or we should have done that. So look, cup games, you can play how you like. You can play great and not go through, or you can play poorly and get through. It's just about getting into the next round of the cup, really.
Yeah, look, I suppose just before the show goes on, if people want to message in for their man of the match tonight, there's 1 or 2 in already. Looks like it's all going to be Nathan Shepherd. Not going to lie, Nathan Shepherd seems to be nominated for best goalkeeper and defender tonight, for the numerous touches he had. Look, Steph, I suppose if we look back on the game, a game like this is always a little dodgy, for a team that's been flying high in the Premier Division, drawn away from home against Wexford, who are thereabouts on a playoff position, in the division below. There's no pressure on them. They might as well have a go at it.
Yeah, it's a free shot. And even years ago when we were in the first division and playing against a Premier Division team, there was no expectations on you. You went there and you went against teams, and everyone expects the Premier Division team to go through it. So look, all the pressure's on the dog to go down there and just get through it. But look, it's never easy when you go to these sort of teams. Like the odd time you might see if you go to an away team, lower division, even outside of the first division, you might pick up a good win. But like the way Wexford, I think they beat Sligo in the last round, was it?
Yeah.
So they've already taken one scalp, and they'll be thinking, look, we can do it again here. Why not? We think it's Sligo and Dundalk on similar sort of levels at the minute, so they'll be thinking, if we take 1 or 2 chances here, we might get through.
I think it's something we were saying in our own group before. Is it's probably hard to call what the starting lineup was going to be, and then lo and behold, there's 5 changes tonight. I think we probably expected McMillan maybe to have a head start up front because he's done so well down in Ferrycarrig Park before. So you're thinking, right, he's got us a 1-0 win before. We gladly take that and stay in the cup here. What do you think is some of the other changes tonight? You changed the middle of the park. Then again, was it a change too far tonight, or is it necessary with the injuries and everything else we have? And we have another game on Monday night, I suppose, as well to think about over in Sligo.
Yeah, look, I'm sure Stevie weighed everything up and was thinking, put out his strongest team, a team that he think could win, but on the same token, then try and juggle it where you're getting players game time, rest, and others. Like Leahy's nearly played every game, so especially with Unc McCourt coming in at left full there to give him a wee bit of a rest. And look, sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't. And these boys won't be used to the game time. I think he's stuck mainly to what he knows, and Ward's been coming in and out, so he should be okay. But they just set up with a back 4, midfield 5, and try and hit us on the counter attack, and it's always hard to break them down.
Yeah.
I thought when we went to goal ahead, then look, I thought they might open up a wee bit, but they were still cagey and hoping to hit us on the counter. And they did get a bit of joy. The high line was we were playing. It was nearly suicidal at times. It was so hard to watch as a defender looking at it. You're thinking, how's there nobody on the cover here? But I know they're trying to play a certain way, but even some of the balls, or them stepping out and playing some of the balls, they are risky balls, like. So we did get caught a couple of times.
Yeah, look, obviously the comments are starting to come in here, and it's all about Frank Harlan talk about Nathan Shepherd as our sweeper keeper tonight, and worried about the extra minutes, I suppose, tonight ahead of Monday night's game then as well. Yeah, look, you mentioned there our first goal in, and Davy Mack. I suppose if it's a ball bouncing around the box, if you want it to fall to any player, it's Davy Mack in particular. It's a good ball cut in by actually who was it had the shot now? I'm trying to think. Bradley. Bradley has the shot. Keeper comes down, spills it straight. And I'm sure the keeper was thinking, Jesus, if I spill this, the last person, oh no, it's Davy Mack, and he tucks it away. He's made a whole career of being that fox in the box sort of a player, and if you give him a gift like that, he's always going to take it, isn't he?
Yeah, it's sort of an instinct to be in the right place at the right time, and it's just one of them things you can't sort of coach. Some players just have it in their locker, and he was always a man, right place at the right time. Like, so, he's done well down there before, and sometimes that's in players' minds coming up the games. Oh, I've done well here, so it gives them a bit of confidence. And look, he hasn't had much game time this year, and he's been like a really big power player. So it's nice for him to start a match, and then obviously getting the score sheet. And look, he's another option there. I know he probably, like, Hubin's obviously number one striker, and then he's John Martin, who seems to be second choice.
Yeah.
But look, if you're stuck for a goal, he's going to be there or thereabouts.
Yeah. Look, and like you'd say, he's probably been a bit power player this year, but I think that was his 300 career appearance tonight. And his 15 goal in the FAI Cup, which I think takes him above Joey Donnelly and the FAI goal scoring records for Dundalk. So it's it's amazing that he's still pulling out these records. We talk about Pat Hoogan with him as well, but to have two lads that are constantly just knocking out good records. Let's say, I think there was times last year the records were going the opposite direction. So it's always nice to have positive ones.
Yeah, and look, them boys both of them have had incredible careers, and particularly with Dundalk as well. So they're at that stage of their career where they've done that much previously that they're just getting a little bit better and a little bit better. And if these records keep coming, they probably have it in the back of their heads. We can set ourselves into history here, and that it only bodes well for us. If he can do similar what he done in the cup final a couple of years ago, we'd be laughing.
That's true. Look, I suppose just before halftime there was a shot across the bow for us that maybe was a warning we didn't heed, where Nathan Shepherd pulls off a brilliant save 1-on-1. Coming in at halftime, we have that 1-0 lead, but there is that little weary bit that they have got in behind us one or two times before that. Do you think, is there anything at halftime that with that high line and the way we've been playing, would that have been on Skip's mind, or do you think that's his philosophy, that's how he's been playing all season, he persists with it?
Yeah, look, it's grand having a philosophy, but if you're like, some teams have sort of worked it out now, or we talked about it before, but Conley able to read a game and cover so well. And look, Boyle, he'll probably admit it himself, he's made a lot of mistakes this year, and it's been a bit uncharacteristic of the player he is and the career he's had so far. But something's not working. Look, and it's leaking like big chances. Like, surely you have to look at it and go, look, maybe we need to tweak it, even if you don't change it fully. Like, it looked like Boyle was playing passes into the midfield and then nearly stepping on as if to support it, and then that's leaving massive gaps. And even if you're a centre half and your centre half roams into the middle when you're not in good safe possession, then you're sort of looking around as if you're caught then. And do you know what? Like, teams have figured it out. Like, Rovers done it last week, and I'm sure Ian Ryan, like, he studies the game, and he would have been watching that and picking out wee bits and pieces that he could really hurt Dundalk. And I'm sure Sligo and Shells, everyone's looking at it now, you know, and they'll be doing the homework on us. So, look, I think it's definitely something we need to work on, because if we keep leaking chances like that, like Rovers punished us big time,
Yeah.
Wexford tonight punished us again. So, and look, it could have been 3 or 4 on their side. Shepherd pulls off 2 brilliant saves anyway, and maybe another 1 or 2 as well. That another night go in, and you know, you're looking at a heavy defeat there, and you know, we're trying to stay in this top 3, and it's not it won't work out well. You need to keep your back line solid, so we can't rely on Shepherd the whole time to keep digging us out of a hole.
Yeah. I suppose then onto the equaliser, you kind of touched on it there, Steph. You know, and Andy Boyle kind of gives away a sloppy pass, and like you say, he kind of steps out of position, and then he's in completely the wrong position to try to get back in to tackle the player, because, you know, as you say, he stepped forward to looking maybe to receive the ball back, which means he's now the wrong side of the striker running on. Is that a case of maybe too many changes and you know, players didn't read what was happening, or is it just like you say, the way we've been playing over the past while? It's that persistent way, and just sometimes we need to find a different way of playing.
Yeah, it just seemed like a mad decision for him to, like, it was a risky ball as is, because I think it was Sloggett he tried to play it in, and
Yeah.
I don't know if Sloggett had his back turned or he was caught flat-footed or something, but the ball was red, and as soon as he's played the ball, like, instead of it being like securing the possession, like if Sloggett had it in, took his touch, then you could say, yeah, go and support him. But for him to just play the ball and then try and make that run and just leave the centre of defence wide open like that, I think it's crazy. I think it was a crazy decision, and we were already high enough as it was at that stage. So, you know, if someone with a bit of pace just punishes it big time, and that's exactly what they did.
I think it says a lot that, you know, straight after that, then Skip makes the triple substitution of, you know, Alfie Lewis, Brian O'Kane, and Robbie Benson come in, because I actually thought at that stage, you know, Joe Adams had kind of fallen out of the game a little, worried the same, and it seemed to be passing us by, and he probably seen that pass get cut out with Sloggett, who may have been kind of a little bit open or a little bit pressed by Wexford that stage. So he probably needed to, knowing that the likes of Lewis will come pick up the ball and give another option. Same with Robbie Benson. But no sooner we make these substitutions that, you know, Short, who'd been a bloody pain in our whole night, you know, he'd bags of pace, and it looked like him and Nathan Shepherd were having a great battle together of, you know, can you get past me? And eventually he does go and put one and gives them a 2-1 lead. But it wasn't even against the run of play probably at that stage either.
No, look, they had their chances. You can't deny that they did. And look, they obviously had a game plan of sitting back, and then just 1 or 2, like every time the ball was moved towards Sloggett, there seemed to be 1 or 2 around him. So they obviously identified him as a bit of a danger man. Like we've all seen him, you know, pick the ball off the centre halves and either drive forward or play a pass and support it. So they were probably thinking, you know, cut it off before it starts.
Yeah.
And then if we win it high, and they were thinking against the height on the hook line, you know, we can get real chances off it. And that's exactly what happened. So, look, you have to give Ian Ryan massive credit for that and how they've set up. And obviously with the pacey attackers they had on show, they knew, look, if we match up with Bone and Sloggett, we could be on a winner here.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, and as well as that, you have to give Stevie credit. He doesn't really hang around with substitutions if he feels the game might be slipping away from us or we're not in control or dominating possession or chances. He makes the changes. He doesn't seem to hold any loyalty, like we've seen. Not like loyalty, but he doesn't just say, oh, well, I'll stick him on because he's done well a couple of weeks ago. If you're not having a good game, he whips you off, and that's just it. Look, the players will probably know that. They'll take it on the chin and they'll say, look, I'm not having a good game.
Yeah.
But getting Alfie Lewis in there, like, I'm sure if this is further on the competition, like, I think like Alfie Lewis will be a massive player for us. Like, even him coming in, getting the ball, moving it, supporting, like he's really impressed me since he's come in, and look, he's probably only getting up to full fitness as well. So, like we spoke about, he was probably in consideration whether to start him or not.
Yeah.
And in the back of his head, he has Monday and trying to juggle everything. So, and we all know how Ryan O'Kane's done the last couple of weeks. Like, he's been super impressive. He's very dangerous. You get the ball and you just expect something to happen now. Every time he gets the ball, is 1-2 plays, running with the ball, and he's just growing every week. So, look, they proved to be the right substitutions at the time anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And I think when Nathan came on, Ryan came on. Sorry, I was reading Nathan Shepherd on a message. I think when Ryan came on, yeah, I'm not good working this late, pal. I think when he came on, he suddenly wanted to get on the ball and run at them a bit more. We were with really good phases of one-touch passing in around the middle and going towards their box, but without that bit of penetration. And sometimes it just takes a player like that, doesn't it? Just gets the head down and makes a beeline towards goal. And we've all waxed lyrical, I suppose, about Ryan all season, no more than Gally, who, of course, he misses the one night that he does score. You were talking to Tony O'Kane yesterday as well, and he was nothing but praise for his work rate and what he's done all summer long to try to get him into position to try to be knocking on the door for a first team start. And we've seen him gain minutes as the season's gone on, and right up to where he was starting. Probably tonight, Skip's probably thinking, I need to give somebody else a chance out there should we need him with these games coming up, with the schedule coming up. And that was probably the only reason Ryan was dropped tonight. Nothing to do with form or anything like that, but to come off the bench, put in a good performance and get the goal. I mean, it's perfect for him.
Yeah, his first competitive goal. I know he scored against Bows in the pre-season friendly just after the break and that, but I'd say that was in the back of his mind as much as he probably wouldn't let on to anybody. But look, he's very grounded, and the fact that he has the work ethic to improve himself, like you'll hear later on. Tony said he got himself into the gym and got a personal trainer to build him up. And look, last year he probably had a bit of an eye opener. He was thrown in the deep end against Rovers for his first start, I think it was, in Tala, and he probably seen the level that he has to get there. And look, fair play to him. He's done the work to get there, and he's definitely reaping the rewards from what we can see. And look, I think his potential is way up there. So he has the chance to just keep going from strength to strength. And that's only a testament to himself, his attitude. And look, he's so down to earth. You can see different pictures are popping up on social media of him at different days, like trophy presentations with kids, and look, it's great to see, and the fact that he's one of our own, and his family's history is steeped in Dundalk, like Dundalk FC. So look, I'm sure Tony was down there and he was a proud man tonight. I'd say he's on cloud nine the way home, and same with his father Barry as well. So look, I think we're all like proud uncles talking about him or something silly like that. But look, it's great to see, and look, smashing goal to score as well. So incredible from him.
I think it's just great. I think Ryan's just one of those players, and Mickey Duffy and Daryl Horgan are all in the same. When they get on the ball, you're kind of straight off your seat going, something could happen here. And Ryan has that about him, hasn't he? He's that little extra quality about him. And then you also think he's one of our own. He's a local lad, understands the club. It makes it even 10 times better, doesn't it? And we magnify it so much more then as well.
Yeah, look, we don't want to get carried away by ourselves, but yeah, look, everyone's really positive, and like everything you've talked about, he just has that little spark that, like, you go and watch a player to do what he does, and look, it looks effortless to him, but look, he's obviously doing the hard work behind the scenes, and it's just exciting. That's what it is. You pay money just to go and watch him, and look, he's only a kid as well. So
yeah,
amazing.
Maybe it's the stone tied around his ankle.
Yeah, the stone tied around his ankle. That's exactly what it is. if you can kick a stone, you can kick a ball.
Exactly. Tony O'Kane gives us a great insight to some of the things that Ryan was doing during the summer to get in. We'll play that interview if you haven't heard or seen it. We'll play it straight after the show tonight. Steph, look, there was a chance just before full time. Robbie McCourt with a header from Robbie Benson free kick. It was one of them ones he's kind of stooping, had to come over a lot of players, and he just went straight at the keeper. Anywhere else, it's a goal. He was unlucky for that, but it probably said a lot about our luck and our effort on the night that didn't go in, and we had to go to extra time.
Yeah, you're probably thinking when the ball came in, you thought it was a set to be a goal, and anywhere else it is, and it could have been a fairy tale for him just after signing a couple of weeks ago. And it just it's just one of them things. He could head that another 9 times and they all go in, like, but it's a chance and he's missed it. But thankfully, just when you look back on it now, it's not, if he had just scored that, we'd be through now. So you can sort of look back on these chances. I don't think anybody will look too deeply into it, like, because we're through. But on another night, if that's a league game and it's the last kick of the game, you'd sort of be gutted that you didn't go home with the 3 points. But going into extra time, you just try and get the win at all costs, like.
I think it was around 84 minutes or something that he made the substitute of bringing in John Martin and taking out Dave McMillan. Were you surprised he waited that long, or do you think was there an opportunity maybe to try to get the 2 boys up top tonight, or was it a case of legs for one match and John Martin for the next?
Yeah, I'd say McMillan probably had run his race. I thought he might have done it a wee bit early to try and just really push on and get the win in the 90. But look, I think when he made the triple substitution, he mightn't have wanted to break up the play so soon after. I'm not sure what the thinking was there, but maybe in the back of his head he was thinking, if we just save John Martin for extra time, and even the build up to the goal, he sort of made a nuisance of himself. He got a few whacks off the centre halves as soon as he came in. He got a thumping challenge and he was down for a while, and you're thinking, can't be another one surely. And thankfully he got up, and even for Ryan, his little jinky run and his ball across, and John Martin just read it and got in front, and the defender takes him for a clear foul, like, for the penalty.
I think when you see it back on the replay, I think the defender had no idea where John Martin was coming in. He just thought he was stepping in to clear the ball out. And as soon as he made the move, you could just see John Martin's foot coming in front of him. And the more he moved, he made the momentum. There was no stopping the movement at that stage. And it was, like I say, it was a clear foul. But I think you can nearly see it on the defender. He's like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. Like,
yeah. Look, I've been caught in that position myself before, and an epic striker just comes in front of you and your movement's already gone. So look, he read it well, and it was sort of a dangerous ball to put across. Everyone probably thought, the centre half included, look, it's an easy clearance here for me. But John Martin, in fairness, he seems to have that wee turn of pace, and he can get into these wee positions, and thankfully he got across in time.
Just before the penalty is taken, there's a little pass the parcel by the Dundalk players. So Alfie Lewis picks up the ball, hands it to John Martin. John Martin then hands it to Robbie Benson. I don't know who was taking it for a second.
Yeah, look, I'd say, I don't know, Robbie Benson maybe called rank on it. And look, we all know Hubin's been the penalty taker, so maybe, I'm sure, look, they've sorted it out before the match, but maybe Dave McMillan might have been on the penalties and he gets taken off, because, look, everything's before the match, you're told, look, such and such is on penalties. But with McMillan off, maybe that's what the confusion, and sort of the players sort of make the decision on the pitch. Then, look, we all know Robbie Benson scored the winner in the FAI Cup final, and look, he was cool, and it was just like he just stroked the ball into the middle of the goals, like it was calm as you like.
So we're 3-2. Steph, and we're thinking, right, that's it. There's no penalties or whatever, and you put the curse on this. Everything's grand unless we do a Linfield on this. I actually got started to get worried at that point.
Yeah, I was starting to get worried, and then the ball dropped in the box, and Bradley just lumped it up the field to our keeper, and I was thinking, nah, we're all right here. We'll just clear balls if they come into the box. We'd be fine.
Exactly. Look, I think you said it in your opening piece then as well, Steph. Sometimes the results don't overly matter as long as they're in the hat for the next round. It's probably something we won't take a whole lot from with regards, massive learning curves or anything like that, because it's probably more of a dogged performance tonight. Great for your home in particular to get off the mark, mind you, and Dave to get another goal. But look, we're in the next round. That's probably the most important thing. One I definitely know on Monday night away to Sligo. It's one of those we've been kind of talking about our gap below us back to kind of Pats and Sligo. It's important to maintain that. It's probably not must win, Steph, but definitely it must not lose. Am I right?
Yeah, I think, look, if you're looking at the next two games, Sligo away and Shels at home, you're probably thinking if we can get 4 points out of them two games, you'd be more than happy with that. Like, obviously they'll go for the 2 wins, and it'd be great if they can get them. But if we can just keep that gap, make sure Sligo don't close up on us, and the same with Pats, just keep them at arm's length, and if we do rightly, it'll be a tough place to go on the Monday night. And look, I don't think the pitch can be as bad as it was the time we played them the first time. So yeah, look, not that you'd go there just hoping for a draw, but if we can just keep them at arm's length and pick up 4 points from the next 2 games, I'd be more than happy with.
Look, I suppose the majority of the comments tonight, along with the man of the match nominations, has just been, why do we persist with this high line? It's a total disaster. Hasn't worked out on Sunday against Rovers. Hasn't worked out against Wexford again. We need to stop this with our high line. High line hasn't worked. Why do we continue to play a high line? I think you get the gist of what we're saying. Now we're going to be facing Aidan Keena, a person that we know has pace as well. But we also look at our defence tonight. We're thinking, like, there's no Dara Leahy in tonight. Is that just a tactical thing to give him a rest? He wasn't even on the bench, which was strange. Then it looks like we've got another makeshift back 4 possibly going into that game again. It's far from ideal for Skip, though, isn't it?
Yeah, far from ideal. The injuries seem to be mounting up, and obviously we've lost 1 or 2 as well. So you want to have your strongest team, especially going into the away games. You want to be nice and solid, especially at the back. And look, Keena has the pace, and you'd be slightly worried if we're gonna play that way. And teams have got massive joy, especially the last 2 games. So if they're gonna go over to Sligo and play the way they did tonight, I think we can get punished even more than we have done. So look, everyone said it, the high line just doesn't seem to be working out for us. So I don't think there's enough time to sort of fully change what we're doing, but they definitely need to tweak something. Like, they'll probably have a recovery session in the morning, and then I don't even know if they might do something on Sunday, small something on Sunday. You don't really have time to get in the train the pitch and really work on it. And it'll be the same. Like, they'll have a recovery day Tuesday, Wednesday they might be off, Thursday they'll probably go into set pieces. But like, for passionate play and really honing down on how you're going to coach this after the Rovers loss was a bit of an eye opener. So I don't look. They'll have to tweak it. Even as a defender, your sort of instincts kick in at times and go, this is danger here. I need to, as much as a manager's telling you do this a certain way. If you stop a chance from being created, it's better than just going along with the play. Now maybe I could be wrong, but the proof's in the pudding the last couple of games where we've been just leaking chance after chance.
Well, I think it's, you think of our record that we've had previously for, conceding very little goals. Particularly, we started off with a plethora of goals in, but then we were really, really tight and right up to the break there. And then obviously in their last 2 games, we conceded 5 goals, which is very unlike us. But when you think of all those changes along the back 4 and up front then as well, I'm not overly surprised with the personnel he's had to go and change. I suppose on a plus side, we seen John Mountney back on the pitch again tonight. A couple of more minutes in him there. He also got on Tala. I always thought that John Mountney coming in would be probably a bit of a luxury player for us. When we need to see out a game, we'll bring him in. He may be needed at times now coming up, pending on how games play out. But at least he's an experienced head to be able to draw on.
Yeah, look, it's definitely no harm having him in and around the squad and coming into games like this, because like the experience he has, so many European matches that does he have under his belt. That's probably more than some players of league matches. So definitely to bring him in, he gives you at least a 7 out of 10 all the time. So and you can't fault his effort every time he comes in. He plays for the badge. He's sort of been so popular over the years because of it. So look, to have the most options you can get, it's good to see him back on the pitch, because there was a bad injury he picked up, and other players might make their way back from it, but we need all the options we can get. We're down numbers on the injury board and losing a few players as well over the window. So he is a good option to have.
Speaking of players that are very popular to the crowd and get people up and singing, Super Nathan Shepherd in goal. Like, we might as well talk about him. Now we might as well lead this straight into our man of the match competition. I'm assuming as well, Steph. It's a landslide in the comments for this, and because there's only 2 of us, if this goes haywire, the goalkeeper association will override anything you say. So I'll get this sorted. Let's talk about Nathan tonight. I mean, he was quick off the line. He's probably got more touches of the ball than some of the field players probably got tonight. He wasn't scared to come out. He's controlling, good passing back in. 2 or 3 really top saves tonight. He can be really, unlucky with the goals. You would say that, the defence kind of opened and parted in front of him. There's not a whole lot he can do. But when called upon tonight, he definitely kept us in this tie. Yeah,
look, you make so many one-on-one saves, and one of them's going to go by you at some stage. So some of the saves, are top drawer. Like, we've come accustomed to him pulling us out of a hole and keeping us in matches when we haven't been playing well and giving up chances. So look, I think the highlight reel of even tonight's match will be up there on Twitter later on. Maybe Andy Button or something will put something together again. But look, he's probably man of the match by a long way tonight. Again, another time. I think they're countless now at this stage this season. So if we get it always gives you confidence. Not the confidence to be playing such a high line we have been playing, but to have someone behind you there like that's going to pull off the saves he does, and even I think I can't remember if it was the end of extra time or end of normal time, and you see him heading one over the end line in the left full position. So you see him over the sideline, sorry, should I say. So he does. He's quick off the mark, and he seems to be growing as well as the more games he plays at senior level, and he seems to be more comfortable and confident in himself. And so look, getting all these accolades, I suppose, people building up is going to give you that confidence, but he's still putting in the performances, and he's been brilliant. So fully deserved man of the match again.
Yeah. Look, it's Nathan for me as well, but it's just funny, at the start of the year when he came in, I thought he looked quite small of a lad, a little bit timid nearly, and he looked ropey enough in the Derry match, and I say ropey enough as in just his speed off the line and things that he's so good at now. We talked about, Conley and him were nearly, at loggerheads because, there was an expectation, I suppose, from the centre half of what they expect him to do as the keeper. And I suppose in this modern day, the keepers are, using their feet a lot more and coming out a lot more. But you fast forward to now, and I just think it's leaps and bounds how Nathan has transformed as a person and a player, because now he looks 10 foot tall. He doesn't seem to be scared of anyone. He's so quick off the line now. We're talking about a defense that, seemed a bit ropey tonight, yet he's the one who held it together. And we probably had a much more solid defense at the start of the year. And he was the one who was kind of just finding his feet, and bear in mind, it's his first professional season, playing senior football like that. So it's a massive jump coming from under 21 level. But by God, is he really excelled as a keeper. And I'm sure, you know better than anyone, the league's not an easy league. I'm sure if people find a weakness, or, I remember, was it after the Bows match, people suddenly thought the best thing to do is pepper our goal with crosses, because they thought this guy's too weak. He can't get through a crowd to pick a ball up or anything like that and relieve a defense. You don't see teams doing that anymore, because they just realize actually he's too good of a keeper. We need to find another way around the defense, and that's testament to him, isn't it?
Yeah, and look, I think a couple of us were up at the Malone Cup game, and you're sort of, having flashbacks of last year, keepers dropping crosses and different things like that, not being dominant or hesitant. And look, I think it's just been a confidence thing for him. He's captained the Brentford under 23 side, and look, he obviously has a bit of leadership qualities to even be given that role in the first place. So when you seen that, and then you seen him in the first couple of games, you were sort of a bit worried for us. We can't afford to carry a goalkeeper. You were sort of thinking, especially when most of the team was just put together in a couple of weeks, and look, he's just grown in stature, and maybe pulling off the saves, just giving the confidence. You know what? I can actually do this. I can actually be a goalkeeper in this league, and yeah, he has become more dominant, and he's quick off the line. Whereas maybe before he might have been second guessing himself, or even to adapt to the physicality of coming up against men instead of youth players could be a big difference. And just even little things, probably a training and people testing him and everything else that goes with it. Like he just literally has grown, and like his performances have been just going off the chart. Really, it's been incredible just watching him throughout the season. Some of the saves he's pulled off, and I'm sure he'll have a massive highlight reel, and he has to be up there for a shout for player of the season, if not the standout person so far.
And should the club be, trying to enter some sort of talks with Andy Burton now to get him staying on in the club past the end of this year?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, you can see other clubs that have signed players just at the start of the season already renewing contracts. That like clubs that were, I think Derry City have signed up a couple of players on longer term deals that they've only just signed the summer just gone. So look, why can't we do that? We need to be. We don't want to be caught in a position where a player's either running down his contract, or just reward him for the performances he's done this year, and tie him down to the club for another couple of years. And look, if something else comes along from at a higher level, then look, you can't stand his way, and you get the money you think you deserve from at that stage, and you're not being held to ransom like we've been caught out in previous years.
Yeah, exactly. I think we wouldn't mind a bit of that forward thinking, because we think at the end of the peak six era, where we were absolutely, pulled apart as a club and having to rebuild things, and, bringing players in. I think we talked about this as well, that, it's not just about the caliber of player that Skip has brought in. It's the characters seem to be the right fit for the club. They have the right mentality as well. And Nathan definitely seems to have that. To wrap up our man of the match competition, I think Steph, I said it to you, Jesus, we haven't even started the show, and there's a comment in there already. So look, Brendan Mulholland, straight off the mark before we even became live, throwing Nathan out for his man of the match, and also question about our defending and high line. So that keeps in with the whole theme of the night. So congratulations, Brendan. You're a winner of our Tony's Pizzeria 15-inch pizza on ourselves here on the show. I think somebody else was just asking, well, Jason Crawley asked, can we put Nathan Shepherd as centre back? So that says a lot. I think he spent more time out there probably tonight. Patsy Matthews in with, I thought Nathan Shepherd was signed. I think he is signed. He's not a loan deal, if I remember correctly.
Definitely, he's
only a 1 year deal with an option. Am I right?
I'm not sure what the terms were, but he himself and Adams definitely signed, and Williams was the loan deal. They were the three sort of come in around the same time. But I think what we're just saying is, look, extend his contract even further, try and tie him down to an extra 2 or 3 years if possible, and reward him for his performances this year. And look, it's good for both parties.
Yeah, I think when you think back on probably our most successful period, we were putting Sean Gannon and Sean Hoare on 2.5, 3 year deals back then. And you could see the stability at the club when we were growing. We were only adding 1 or 2 players to the team each year. And, think of the European experience and everything that we gained from that and the titles. So I think it kind of proves that is the work. And to a certain extent, that seems to be what Shamrock Rovers have done over the past few years as well, as they've put decent contracts into players and invested, and they're getting that tenfold back now. So I think that's definitely the way to go on it. Steph, we've already kind of talked about the Sligo match. For yourself, were you thinking wholesale changes for this? We're probably not going to see Dave McMillan start. Would you expect to see John Martin maybe instead? Alfie Lewis in the middle?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we go with our strongest team for Monday night now. Whoever's fit and available, I think if Leahy's fit, he comes back in. It's probably going to be McCarry, Bone, Boyle, and then look, Benson has to start now, doesn't he? Like I don't know how far away Doyle is or whatever, but he might be a bit more long term. But look, yeah, I think Alfie Lewis, no brainer to come back in. Ryan O'Kane has to start, John Martin, and then Bradley was coming down with cramp an awful lot at the end of the game. So look, see how he is. But I think near enough the team picks itself. You have to go with your strongest team going away to Sligo, and you can't really have one eye on Shells. You just have to go try and pick up your result, and then worry about who's available then after the game.
Yeah, exactly. I think you're probably more looking at the team that finished the game tonight, give or take 1 or 2 positions. Obviously, there's a question mark over Darragh Leahy or who might fill in there. We know more probably about the extent of his absence tonight. As I say, yesterday, Steph, you caught up with Tony O'Kane just to talk about the late Des Casey. I mean, I think for anyone who hasn't seen it, please hang on here, and we're going to show it straight after. But the legacy of Des here in the town and football in the country was just immense, wasn't it?
Yeah, look, even from talking to Tony, you could get that sense from just the stature of Des and everything he's done for football in the local community, and just seemed to branch out year after year. And look, he's touched a wee bit about his time with the FAI, and Tony even talked about him able to source tickets. Like he actually said he'd help out anybody if anybody had a ticket query. He was the go-to man, and he looked after many people with tickets. And even he's progressed on to UEFA, and Tony fully expected a UEFA delegate down at the funeral, and I'm sure it was a massive turnout, and people paid their respects. And yeah, you just got the sense from Tony. Like, I was even nervous talking to him before. I was a bit nervous, just because it's you're talking about someone who was an important football person, and you want to make sure you came across in the right light. So even Tony himself, like, look, he's a great Dundalk man, and he's steeped in Dundalk history as well. And being a personal friend of Des, it was just a pleasure to talk to him. And I think the conversation went well. It seemed to have gone down well. Everyone seems to be positive about the conversation. So
the other thing I took from it, Steph, was, when you were asking him about obviously Tony was the chairman at the time, they were laying the 3G pitch, and he was very quick to say that all the dealings with the Casey family was fantastic, that, they never stepped in the way at all of progression of what people wanted to do with Oriel Park, as long as it was for Dundalk Football Club. That bodes well for hopefully what we might be able to do in the future, with regards Oriel Park, or Martin Connie spoke last week about possibly bringing out a fan survey to see what they'd prefer. Do we prefer to maybe redevelop Oriel Park, or do we look at a greenfield site elsewhere? My preference would always be to stay in Oriel Park and just try to redevelop that in the right way. But whatever problems obviously we have with leasing and everything with the Casey family, I don't think there's going to be a massive block there by them, but it is another hurdle that we will have to overcome when it gets down to planning an application.
Yeah, I think previously with owners that were from outside the country, they were looking with their business heads on, and they were thinking, what can we get out of this? But like Tony said, when he dealings with Des and the Casey family, it was always what was best for the club, and Tony made that really clear. Like, they weren't going to stand in the way. Like he said, like, Dundalk were on its knees, and if this didn't happen, he was sure they were going to fold. Like, he talked about players going without wages for a couple of weeks, and there was threat of a strike, or maybe there was a strike, and they put the plans in place. And look, at we've probably as a club been in that position too many times where we were knocking on the door of going into extinction, and many clubs have you seen around the country that's happened to. So thankfully Des and the Casey family allowed the club to go ahead and put in the 3G pitch, and they were able to rent out the pitch and so on from that. But hopefully that bodes well going forward. I know he was probably the head of the Casey Trust, and hopefully there's good connections there still, and good communication. And look, it was a nice touch by the club then to rename Oriel Park for the season Casey's Field, which was the name before they renamed it Oriel Park. And like Tony said himself and his friends would often refer to Oriel as Casey's Field. And like yourself, what you're saying, would you rather redevelop Oriel or move to a new site? And I'd be in the same thinking of yourself. Like, you think of the memories there. Like, you think of the Shamrock Rovers 4-0 semi-final cup win, Steve McGuinness, David Crawley, Haylock, goals Martin Riley scored in the first division to get us up to the Premier Division. Even, look, myself playing there a couple of times, I was able to represent the club, and just the memories, like even bringing Ross up to see Patrick McElhenney scored won the goal against UCD in the cup as well. And maybe it's the magic of the cup that most of my memories, the good ones, seem to come from the cup. But little things like that, like the connection you have with the club, it's just a home for the Dundalk Football Club. And it would be sad if we had to move away, and obviously a brand new shiny stadium it'd be fantastic. But if you go redevelop Oriel, that'd be my pick as well.
Yeah. Look, I think it's a real class act by the club with the renaming of Oriel Park back to Casey's Field. Look, Steph, we're in the cup. That's the most important thing. Let's not dwell on our performance overly well. I think we look to Monday. We'll be back with another show again on Monday as per usual. And thanks to all our sponsors, and to Dundalk Village as our main sponsor for the overall podcast, to Player Fit for our merchandise that I'm currently wearing, that Steph will have in a video coming very soon, straight after us. Quick wardrobe change from Steph there. And of course, to Tony's Pizzeria for our man of the match competition, continuing out into their second season for that. So thank you so much, Steph. Thank you. No doubt we'll see you again, possibly Monday night.
Yeah.
You've done a double shift for us tonight, so technically you should have time off.
Yeah, look, I think I took enough time off, so it was about time I done a bit of work.
Perfect. Well, look, as we just said, guys, we're just going to play Steph's interview with Tony O'Kane now about Des Casey, but there's also a little bit there at the end about Ryan O'Kane and on a night where he scored his first goal. It seems more than fitting to play this. So thanks everyone for tuning in. Thanks, Steph, and we'll just play Tony's interview now.
Welcome everyone to the Turn In podcast. We have a special guest on today, and have we chat. It's a special sort of segment